The following is an exclusive presentation of WI Garden Media, the voice of Garden Talk Radio. Coming up on the program today, we're going to discuss cucumbers, some fun facts about them, and planting them, as well as planting for canning this year. Our guest is author Teresa Woodard, and we'll answer your garden questions. The hour is full, so join us.
You are listening to the most informationally packed hour of garden-focused radio in the country and on the internet with your host, husband and wife team Joey and Holly Baird. This is the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show. And welcome to another edition of the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show. Happy to have you along, allowing us to be a little part of your day. I am your host, Joey Baird. Beside me is my wife, co-host, best friend, and gardening partner,
Holly Baird.
This program is for you, about you, to help your garden grow better, to maintain your landscape, grow healthier trees, make your grass look greener, as well as preserving what you grow. Whether you're tuning in on one of the 20 AM and FM frequencies broadcasting our program here in 2025 through a radio app, through our parent website, the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener.com, thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com, underneath the Season 9 tab at the top of the page, podcast replay or in-studio video replay. Thank you for joining us. You want to be part of the program, you can certainly join us by giving us a call, toll-free, coast-to-coast at 1-800-927-SHOW. That's 1-800-927-7469, or Garden Talk Radio at gmail.com. That's Garden Talk Radio at gmail.com. Well, before we get in the program, it's time for this week's Joke of the Week.
You might get this one. What do trees drink?
Water? Sunlight?
It's a joke.
It's a joke. I know, but you asked me what they drink. They drink water. Plants drink water.
Root beer. Root
beer, okay.
This week's garden joke is brought to you by Rescue.com. American-made rescue products keep your family home and yard protected from pests and insects like wasps, hornets, yellow jackets, flies, ants, and more. Learn more at rescue.com. That's rescue.com.
See, I don't know the answer because I don't know what the joke is, so I go into it blind.
You don't look at it?
I don't look at it, yeah. I don't know. It's not fun if I look at it.
That's true.
Cucumbers. Many of us grow cucumbers for a variety of reasons, from eating to canning. There are estimated over 100 varieties of cucumbers. There are many different types of cucumbers and many different categories in which they fall under, determining by variations of size, shape, color, and flavor. Pickling, slicing, eating. There's all different types of purposes for cucumbers. It is technically a fruit, Holly, and it has about 95% water.
Yes.
Now, see, growing up on the farm, only thing I ever knew of a cucumber was the pickling cucumbers. We never did.
You never had like slicing cucumbers?
We ate the pickling cucumbers as slicing cucumbers.
So
Mom would mix it in with a mixture of vinegar and oil, and then add a couple of a pepper, a cucumber, and a couple of slices of tomato, and that was kind of the dredge,
like a salad,
liquid salad type thing. So we never did like Market More 76 or anything. We just did pickling cucumbers. That's all we ever grew. And we would put up 30, 40, 50 quarts of pickles a year.
Did your mom put cloves in her pickled cucumbers? Did they taste like cloves?
No,
a clove flavor? It
was just vinegar. It was more of a vinegar. I'm sure there was cloves in it, but I just remember it being a pickle, a good
like
pickle.
A dill?
Yeah, dill pickle flavor.
Interesting. All right. Well, yeah. So, technically fruit, high in fiber, 9% water. They
high in fiber. Yeah.
High in fiber. They help with your story threw me off here. They help with blood sugar regulation, hydration because they're 95% water.
We are not doctors.
Yeah.
Just check with your physician if you're going to utilize the consumption of cucumbers for specific medical purposes.
But they do contain vitamins B1, B2, B3, B5, and B6, folic acid, vitamin C, calcium, iron, magnesium, phosphorus, potassium, and zinc. So if you want to know the specific amounts of those, you would have to look that up. But
I'm sure it varies from variety to variety. It's not just a standard across the board. Cucumbers.
Do you have a favorite? Do you have a favorite cucumber now?
I don't know. I don't have a favorite.
I like lemon cucumbers. We haven't grown those for a while.
That basically they look like a lemon or the size of a tennis ball, and they're yellow. Don't pickle or don't can them.
There was a cucumber I didn't like. I can't remember what it was.
There was some. I forget.
The spiky one? Was there a spiky one? No?
Jelly melon, but that's not really. But that's not a cucumber.
Anyway,
there's some potato cucumbers. They look like little potatoes.
I don't think I like
and then
that.
there was white cucumbers.
That's kind of weird.
There's multiple varieties. We've grown several different varieties. The tried and true is the
Market More is kind of the...
Yeah, the Market More and the pickling cucumber.
Yeah. All right, anyway. So they originated from Southeast Asia, and China actually produces 76 of cucumber...
76%.
76. Just 76.
Yeah.
76.
You weren't here for rehearsal, were you?
No. 76% of cucumber and gherkin production in the world. That's a lot of cucumbers.
And think what you want to think, but it's amazing when you start looking of where certain foods come from that you think, oh, cucumbers. That's like totally easy. There's like billions of acres of cucumbers that can be grown in America. 76% of the cucumber production in the world comes from China.
Yeah. So they can go up to 2 feet long. There's that long
American yard long, which we have grown, American yard long cucumber. And when we harvested it, it was literally about 36 inches long. And we peeled it. It had the flavor of a cantaloupe or muskmelon. It did not have like a cucumber flavor. It was a very sweet.
That's right.
Yeah, very sweet flavored, almost candy-like taste.
I can eat a lot of vegetables plain. But cucumbers I cannot eat.
You got to add something
like
a
dip them or put some salt on them.
But pickles itself, you could eat a jar of pickle. You know how many people in the world can't or don't have the concept to understand that a cucumber put in vinegar in a jar turns into pickles?
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that can't put those connections together.
Anyway, I would not eat a whole jar of pickles, but I could eat a couple pickles, you know. But yeah, cucumbers, I need to add something. They're just, I don't know.
It takes about 12 weeks from sowing the cucumber to the harvesting of the fruit. So keep that in mind. It's not that's 3 months, about 90 days.
I want to tell this fun fact.
Okay.
In northern England, pickled cucumbers are sometimes called wallies. And in Roman times, Emperor Tiberius had cucumber on his table daily, all year round.
He was the first one to develop the greenhouse because he wanted to eat cucumber every day.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So you can grow cucumbers in 12 weeks. That does make sense.
About 90 days.
Yeah.
And they don't like cold feet. They don't like to be transplanted. So for those of you who are going to the garden center, seeing your cucumbers in the starts, bypass them. Save your $2, $4, $8, whatever they are. Buy your pack of Jung seed cucumbers and use the coupon code TG25. Was it 10? And you can verify that Jung coupon. Get your seeds from Jung Seed and
15 TG25.
15 TG25 to get save 15% off your order. They're all available under the Money tab at our parent website, the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com.
The Money tab.
The Money tab. And plant the seeds when the soil is 60 to 65 degrees at root zone. So about 2 inches below surface. Use a digital meat thermometer to get you a good reading, because the transplanting of the cucumber that you've bought like for $5 at the garden center and the seed that you plant, which you get like 30 or 50 seeds for, or even 100 for like $1.50, $2, in 4 weeks are the same size.
Yeah, it's true. It's very true. Yes. So 12 weeks. So growing cucumbers, you want to have full sun. That's ideal. They want a lot of sun. You want nice loose soil. It's not necessary to be like super loose. They can grow in kind of not
concrete clay.
Not concrete clay either. After the last frost date is when you want to put your cucumbers out, but you want the soil to be 65 degrees. As Joy had mentioned, no cold feet. So you want to make sure that you are past like.
And there's a certain point, that 12 weeks, there's a certain point, they're not going to go from Memorial Day to Labor Day in most instances.
No.
They're you can succession plant and go like but you got to watch your last frost date or your first average frost date too. But there's a time in there in which you can get a second planting in, so you can, as the one fades away, the other will be kind of picking up.
You want to trellis them.
Yes.
Joy didn't grow up trellising. I did.
No.
So, but trellising is good. You can see them easily, gets them off the ground, keeps them from pests, etc. Watering is important. They are 95% water, which means that they like watering.
Your drip irrigation system or some type of irrigation system is the way to go.
Yeah. You want to harvest them. You don't want to wait. You want to harvest them regularly. So if you are growing, pickling like gherkin kind of cucumbers, you want to make sure that once they get to the point where they are that pickling size, you harvest them. You don't wait for them to get bigger, because the more frequent you harvest, the better they'll produce, especially if you want a lot of them to pickle or eat or whatever you might do. Cucumber juice, I don't know. Pollinate, they do need pollinators. So
there is some varieties that do not, they have engineered these, not like GMOs, but they don't need pollination, yeah.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, so harvest often, harvest regularly.
Those are the ones typically grown in the commercial greenhouses because there is not pollination in the greenhouses.
Oh, that's interesting. But classically you want to make sure they're getting pollinated unless you have that variety. So you do want to make sure you are keeping your eye on them as they grow. And I don't know if they have many pests. Not really. Maybe the leaves do. But yeah. So
you get powdery mildew.
Oh, that's right, powdery mildew. So and again, as Joy had mentioned, they're not the Memorial Day to Labor Day. They don't go past Labor Day typically. It's more of it's a shorter season vegetable.
Right. Well, Walton's has everything you need for your cooking and butchering needs.
We are brought to you today by Walton's Inc. We know you care about where your food comes from. Canning and preserving your fruits and vegetables is great, but what about the meat? At Walton's, they have everything you need to go from animal to edible. They also have meatgistics.com to help educate people on the hows and whys of meat processing as well, such as a community of 15,000 users to help give their guidance on meat processing issues. They have decades of experience in the meat processing industry and are trying to bring that information to the home processor. So if you go to waltonsinc.com and you use code GROW50, GROW50, that gets you 10% off orders of $50 or more. They help you go from animal to edible. Again, it's waltonsinc.com, code GROW50.
When we return, we're going to discuss planting for canning. You're tuned in to the Gardening with Joy and Holly radio show.
Got a question for Joey and Holly? Send it via email anytime to gardentalkradio@gmail.com.
Azure Standard is America's premier family-owned online store for organic foods and healthy products for your home and garden. They deliver directly to families and commercial customers through over 3,500 drop points across all 50 states. Azure Standard strives to make grocery shopping easy, bringing all your needs to one convenient pickup location. As a trusted national health food distributor, Azure Standard offers bulk and specialty health foods to communities nationwide. With over 12,000 products, each one is approved and carefully sampled to ensure the highest quality. Azure Standard holds firm to non-GMO, organic, and natural standards. From food and beauty products to household items, nutritional supplements, animal care, hobby supplies, and even garden essentials, Azure Standard truly has everything for your daily living. Visit azurestandard.com, that's AZURE standard.com. Use promo code Joey and Holly 15 at checkout to get 15% off for new customers who open an account for the first time and place a minimum order of $100 or more, shipped to a drop location of your choice. That's code Joey and Holly 15 at azurestandard.com. Azure Standard is AZURE standard.com.
Jung Seed Company is a family-owned and operated gardening company since 1907 with the largest selection of seeds and plants online. Use coupon code 15TG25 to receive 15% off your order at jungseed.com. That coupon code is 15TG25 to save 15% off your order at jungseed.com.
Want bigger blooms and better yields? Without the hassle, Carricade makes gardening easy with eco-friendly, effective solutions. Rated 4.8 stars, trusted by growers like you. Shop Carricade.com and use the code RADIO10, that's Radio10, to save 10% off your order at Carricade.com. Garden like a pro in 3 easy steps and receive customized fertilizer recommendations for your garden or lawn. Soil Savvy helps you determine what nutrients your plants need to thrive. Never again over-apply nutrients they don't need. A patented process that makes you a smart gardener. To get your soil test kit, go to mysoilsavvy.com.
Want the perfect lawn this summer? LawnSynergy.com is making it easy. They have fertilizers and grass seed formulated by professional landscapers. Visit LawnSynergy.com to get started. They'll tell you exactly what your lawn needs, when to apply it, and will deliver it right to your front door. LawnSynergy.com. Let's make the neighbors jealous.
Make watering easy. DripWorks provides quality drip irrigation supplies and equipment to gardeners just like you for all your growing needs across the U.S. and Canada. Purchase online at dripworks.com. Used to alleviate pain throughout history, the common milkweed has been rediscovered. Today, milkweed balm helps relieve pain and restore mobility naturally. Pure plant-based relief for aching joints, nerves, and muscles. Experience the healing power of nature. Try milkweed balm today. Use code GARDENING for 20% off your order at milkweedbalm.com.
Have insects such as aphids or fungal gnats invaded your plants? Fight back with Summit Year-Round Spray Oil and Summit Mosquito Bits. Organic Summit Year-Round Spray Oil kills insect pests on indoor and outdoor plants. All natural mosquito bits kill fungal gnats larvae in container plants. Both products are harmless to people, plants, and wildlife. Summit Year-Round Spray Oil and Summit Mosquito Bit are available at garden centers, hardware stores, and at SummitResponsibleSolutions.com.
Pomona's Universal Pectin is a high-quality pectin that gels reliably with low amounts of any sweetener. If you're trying to reduce the amount of sugar in your diet, you'll love Pomona's Universal Pectin. Now you can make healthy homemade jams and jellies sweetened to your taste. You can use sugar or honey to sweeten. Pomona's Universal Pectin keeps indefinitely when stored in an airtight container. Easy to use, versatile, and comes with directions and recipes in every box. Find out more and where to buy at PomonaPectin.com. Also available at natural food stores and online.
Tree Ivy Root Development System, the quickest way to get new trees on their feet. TreeIvy.com. One Sweet Earth makes the last garden bed you'll ever need. Strong, simple, sustainable. One Sweet Earth beds slide together in minutes. No tools, no rot, no junk. Durable, non-toxic, woman-owned, made in the USA. Visit OneSweetEarth.com. Welcome back to the Garden with Joy and Holly radio show. Happy to have you along. If you need those coupon codes or want to know more about those sponsors, you can find that at our parent website, thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com, underneath the Money tab for coupon codes and underneath the Season 9 tab for the links to all the companies that financially support the program so that so you can hear us on your radio and podcast and in-studio video replay each and every week.
So you want to plan for planting for canning. So this may look like planting more of certain crops. This may look like planting a variety of crops for canning. You definitely want to know what you're going to can, what you plan to can, and what you want to eat. It might be as simple as knowing you're just going to can tomatoes as is and then use those tomatoes for something else later. Same thing with beans. Typical crops that you plant for canning are tomatoes, cucumbers, zucchini, green beans, corn are the typical most of the canning.
But people can can anything they grow if done properly through the National Home for Food Preservation or bulk canning. You can turnips and rutabagas and pumpkin and squash.
I would say this is like traditional. And you know what? Actually, I would
most familiar. Yeah.
I would add root crops to that as well. And now people are just pickling all sorts of stuff. They're pickling anything from peppers to asparagus to
Jerusalem artichokes.
So
Swiss chard stems.
When we say zucchini, we're not talking about canning zucchini. We're talking about canning things like zucchini relish, pickled zucchini.
Yeah, you're not you're not cubing it and then cooking it or canning it.
Zucchini relish. I said zucchini relish. What was the other? Did we something? I don't know. Maybe we didn't do anything else with zucchini. I have heard when I was attending canning classes, people would plant. They would delay plant or plant in succession at times, and this is your mileage may vary. You can tell us where they succession plant to kind of hold off on some yields to can. to plan for canning a little bit differently. But that's not what we do. We just plant and can as it all comes in. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that when it comes to tomatoes, there's determinate, indeterminate, and this could make your harvest vary. Determinate means that the tomatoes will, this is also known as the bush tomatoes, which it'll put on the main harvest, and then that's pretty much it.
And indeterminate will put on a first harvest and then continue throughout the growing season until frost kills it or you kill it.
That's a vine.
That's the vine one.
Yeah.
And a lot of canners will go with the indeterminate because it continues to provide. You get a big harvest, you get that all canned, you wait a couple of weeks, you get another big harvest. Green beans, if you're going to do green beans in the canning or freezing form, you plant as several rows, and then as they're harvesting, you halfway through their growth cycle, you plant another several rows so you can harvest process, go back to the first row, 2 rows, harvest process, that type of thing.
And actually, square foot gardening gets you the best yield out of all the growing methods. So as opposed to rows, you would do like a square foot row or something. Yeah.
Now, how much do you want to plant in order to can what you want? Your mileage may vary, but there are different charts online that give you approximation of this is how many poundages you need of this for X amount of pints or quarts. For example, for tomatoes, let's see, what do you got? Hot water pack, pint or quart?
Yeah, so this is if you have whole or half tomatoes, and this is with them packed in water. So it takes 21 pounds, an average of 21 pounds per canner load of 7 quarts. So if you have a 7-quart canner, you need 21 pounds of tomatoes to fill that canner. If you're doing pints, it would take 13 pounds for 9 pints. Same size canner, 7 quarts, 9 pints. A bushel weighs 53 pounds. So say...
That's of tomatoes, a bushel of tomatoes.
Yeah. So that's about 15 to 21 pounds.
15 to 21...
or it comes to 3 pounds per quart.
15 to 21 quarts, averaging 3 pounds a quart if you have 1 bushel of tomatoes. Now, bushels vary based on what you are measuring. A bushel of tomatoes is very different than a bushel of corn, shelled corn. A bushel of shelled corn is 56 pounds. And, all down to the line.
A bushel and a peck. Anyway, so I don't know if we mentioned, but the National Center for Home Food Preservation website has all of these charts, information to help you figure out, okay, I have this much. I'm going to need about this much.
You can also call your local county extension office too, and they have your master canner in your county or your region.
If they have one.
Right. The master canners are very different than master gardeners. Master canners are limited to a certain number in an area, so they don't. Oversaturate, and the information is not misconstrued. You do not have to grow 87 tomatoes in order to can tomatoes. You don't have to grow 1.5 acres of green beans to can green beans or freeze green beans. You can certainly do that, but you also have the option of going to your local farmer's market later on in the season, and there are farmers there that will sell you quantities in which you are requesting. They may not have it available this Saturday. You walk up and go, "Hey, I'm hello, how are you doing? I'm looking to get X amount of pounds of green beans or carrots or fill in the blank because I want a can." They may not have that, but they say, "Hey, come back next week or come to the farm on such and such date. We can get you as much as you want."
But
yes,
this is where this information comes in from the National Center for Home Food Preservation, because you now know that a bushel is
53
pounds. So
of tomatoes.
So now you're like, I want to can this many tomatoes. I'm going to need a whole bushel from the farmer at the farmer's market. And then I've done this. I actually bought sorghum ahead of time, but you can buy other things typically from the farmer, and they will gladly give you a discount, especially if you're going to can it. They know that like tomatoes, like they'll give you, a lot of people want, the pretty tomatoes for the nice salad or whatever.
A bushel of green beans, 28 to 30 pounds.
Yeah. So they'll give you like the not the the Not Magazine cover. And there's nothing wrong with those tomatoes. They're just like...
What did Dwight say, the beets? What's
the money beets.
Money beets, yeah, the money tomatoes, yeah. The ones that are not as appealing but still have the best quality. There's nothing wrong with them.
Right, and you're going to can them anyway. So you're going to take the peel off, or maybe you're going to make pasta sauce. You're going to run it through the food mill situation. Right. So, yeah. So that's the...
You want some other bushel bean facts?
Yes, please.
Soybeans, 60 pounds is 1 bushel. Wax beans, 24 pounds is 1 bushel. White beans, 60 pounds is 1 bushel. So it varies significantly. Well, a bushel is, you're going to have to figure that out. So canning and doing this correctly, whether you are pressure canning or water bath canning, for low acid or high acid food, you've got to know what you're doing. You just can't go, well, across the board, this is what it is. Example, green beans used to be water bath canning used to be like the standard. You could do that. That is no longer safe. You've got to pressure can green beans. We choose to boil, blanch, and freeze our green beans because we find doing it that way, there's more of a pop or a crisp to those green beans than when we pressure can them.
So I know we're talking about canning vegetables, but just, the National Center for Home Food Preservation has the canning of the vegetables. It has jams and jellies, has pickling, has fermenting, freezing, drying, curing, and smoking. Okay. Which might come in handy for us. Uh-huh. Joey and I recently bought a smoker, and then storing. I don't know what storing is. I guess I could click on that. But just there's all this great information. Is very helpful.
Trusted, reliable
source. Yeah. The ball canning website, which is freshpreserving.com, very helpful as well. But the National Center for Home Food Preservation, if you're just especially if you're just looking for the basics, there's recipes on there. But if you're just looking for the basics, I have a bushel of tomatoes. How many tomatoes can I can? Or what can I do with this? It's really helpful.
So now that the weather is warming up, Holly, and you'll want to start protecting your garden and yard from those various beetles, weevils, borers, including Japanese beetles.
And what better way to prevent those pests from destroying your garden than by controlling them while they are larvae? Grub Gone is an easy-to-apply granule product that can be spread on your turf to successfully control grub invaders. Developed by Phylum Bioproducts from a naturally occurring bacteria, Grub Gone is a non-chemical BT product that specifically targets only certain scarab pests, and it's safe to use around bees and other beneficial insects. If you already have those beetles flying around your yard, as well as some of us do, and they're going to attack your green beans, your rose bushes, and anything they can get their little chompy mouths on, Beetle Gone is the organic water dispersible powder, the only one on the market that can be sprayed directly on your edible plants. Find out more at beetlegone.com. and find all of their information at phyllumbioproducts.com. When we return, author Teresa Woodard will be with us. You're tuned in to the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show.
Have a garden question? Give Joey and Holly a call now or anytime 24/7. Just dial 1-800-927-SHOW. If you can't get through, leave a message and they will call you back. Call now 1-800-927-SHOW.
Watering is the key to a healthy garden, but it can take up a lot of your time. Water less with Soil Moist. Grow beautiful plants with less water. Soil Moist polymers reduce your plant's watering by 50%, reduce transplant shock and soil compaction, and are effective in your soil for 3 to 5 years. It is an effective watering management aid that is ideal for internal and external plantings, such as trees, shrubs, containers, baskets, flower beds, vegetables, and turf. Soil Moist acts as a form of insurance for your plants and is environmentally friendly. It is easy to apply at the time of planting or transplanting. Spend more time doing what you enjoy and let Soil Moist work smarter for you. Bolster your plant's nutrient and water uptake with Soil Moist. Enhance microbial and plant growth. No need to spend extra time worrying about watering your plants. Easy to follow instructions right on the label. To find where to purchase and to see all their products, contact your local garden center or visit soilmoist.com.
Wind River chimes will always be the inspiring harmony. With a large selection and customization options, you will find the sound that soothes you. Visit windriverchimes.com to shop and find out more.
Chip Drop is a website you can sign up for free wood chip mulch delivery right to your door for free. Chip Drop connects homeowners and gardeners with tree services who are trying to get rid of their wood chips. You can also sign up to get free logs and firewood. Go to chipdrop.com to learn more and sign up for a free account. If you could double the life of your raised bed boxes by sealing the wood with a clear, non-toxic wood preservative, would you? Well, now you can with a clear, penetrating product called Internal Wood Stabilizer. It's 100% non-toxic and easy to apply. Seal your untreated wood surfaces, even chicken coops, by spraying on Internal Wood Stabilizer. It's invisible, seals the wood from the inside out, and never wears off. Recommended by organic gardening experts, Internal Wood Stabilizer. Check it out at timberprocoatingsusa.com. Save your back. Easily and quickly remove trees and shrubs from your property with the Weed Wrench. Find it at weed-wrench.com. Made in the USA. Use coupon code WEED to save $10 off your Weed Wrench at weed-wrench.com.
A non-selective herbicide that is also USDA Bio-Preferred certified? You bet. Say goodbye to Roundup and hello to No More Weeds by Naturally Green Products. No More Weeds kills weeds with no harsh chemicals and no glyphosate. Safe around pets, No More Weeds has a proprietary sticking agent to use around gardens, pools, decks, patios, anywhere there are weeds. Available online at natgreenproducts.com, Amazon, and Walmart.com. Order yours today. The same great company that brings you no more bugs.
Edmonds Roses is a family-owned and operated rose company with the largest selection of roses online. Use coupon code 15TG25 to receive 15% off your order at edmondroses.com. That coupon code is 15TG25 to save 15% off your order at edmondsroses.com.
Tarps.com supplies a wide variety of tarps, canopy, and canopy fittings, polyvinyl mesh, canvas, clear, and more. They have been around for over 25 years. From a small to the largest tarp you can imagine in a variety of colors, visit tarps.com. Totally Tomato is a family-owned and operated gardening company with the largest selection of tomatoes online. Use code 15TG25 to receive 15% off your order at totallytomato.com. That's code 15TG25.
Welcome back to the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show. Happy you're with us. Missed any of those coupon codes? The parent website, the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com, underneath the Money tab at the top of the page. Holly, let's go to the hotline and bring in our guest for this week.
Teresa Woodard is a writer and field editor for regional and national consumer magazines and their digital outlets. She is a contributing garden editor at Midwest Living magazine and an author to a couple books, including her most recent book, Garden to the Max. Welcome to the program, Teresa.
Thank you, Joey and Holly.
Well, we appreciate you taking time out of your day to not only educate Holly and myself, but all of our listeners.
So where did your love of gardening come from? Where did it begin for you?
For me, I think my love for gardening came from my love for nature. As a kid, I would love going hiking, and my parents just kind of turned me loose. In elementary school, I lived along this big woodland and would go and hike and see all the spring wildflowers. And then later in middle school, we moved in town, a small town, and the woman who had lived there for 70 years had planted all kinds of wildflowers in the backyard. And so I would press them and cut them. And today I still love wildflowers and grow them in my own backyard today.
Well, you are a field editor and for regional and national consumer magazines. What are you seeing as the trend for 2025 here? We kind of get a trend every now and then. We saw some during the pandemic. What are you seeing, if you are seeing, and what is it?
Well, it's really a continuation of a trend, but this whole trend of abundance and less about control, more about dense plantings and a wide variety of plants to support wildlife and biodiversity. And along with that abundance comes this, more creative, joyful expression, personal expression in the garden. People are being bolder, creating these gardens that bring them joy.
Now, we see this a lot with these plant companies that they breed this one to breed that. We get a special new rose or a special new this plant or not. In your personal opinion, do you think that that has gone to a level beyond what it should be and we should just kind of stick with what we've got instead of trying to create new things?
No, I love all the interest that these new breeders are bringing. I think it generates excitement. I think, yes, there's all these wonderful classics, but if new plant introductions can bring new gardeners into the world, I'm all for it. I really am about promoting more gardening and more plants. I just think it's good for us mentally and socially, but it's also good for our earth. So I don't think we can have enough.
And there's a certain level of that these breeders are seeing, like this particular disease or insect is eradicating this type of species. We can breed two of these together to repel or prevent that from affecting this new line, which some level is pretty interesting.
It is. I agree. And also just to help gardeners be more successful. I think new gardeners, it can be intimidating sometime. And if they go with some of these disease-resistant plants, it's going to ensure that they're going to be more successful. And that's good for everybody.
Taking the variables out that, that type of thing.
Yeah. I think it's pretty exciting, some of the new plants that are coming out. And many of them are doing it for ecological, they're breeding for ecological value too. They're testing which plants have more pollinator appeal now. So those kinds of things are all good.
Definitely very, very important. So your newest book, Garden to the Max, which looks absolutely beautiful and colorful and just very, very appealing visually. Can you tell us about it? What our listeners might pique their interest, something to gain interest? Just give us kind of an idea of what our listeners could expect when they pick up a copy.
Sure, absolutely. We're super excited about it, and it's a really bold, colorful book. Garden to the Max is in hot pink on the front cover. We even put a fifth color of ink to make it pop. So it's a very bold, colorful book. But it all started when I was noticing this maximalist style coming back in fashion and interior worlds. And in the magazine world, we think it's interesting when one area crosses over into another area, like home into garden or cooking into garden. And so I thought, how interesting that this trend in interiors was paralleling what was going on with gardens as we were embracing a more abundant approach. And with this overlap, I thought maybe it would be fun to showcase how maximalism and this theme of abundance is playing out in the gardens. And my ultimate goal, was just to attract more gardeners. So maybe if there's interior people that love the maximalist style in their homes, maybe they would consider trying the maximalist style outdoors and growing more plants and ultimately getting us a greener earth.
So could you describe what the maximalist style is to people who
Sure.
might not know?
Oh, yeah, that's a good question. I do get that a bit. So maximalism is the joyful opposite of minimalism. And instead of paring down, like with the minimalist style, you really lean in. And that can be translated with bold colors, vibrant color palettes, highly textural gardens, collections of things, like if you're a collector of succulents or a collector of tropical plants, layering different plants, and even in the fashion world, it's layering different patterns. So that's how it is translated into the garden maximalism. It's sort of this more is more mentality.
Now, you are involved in the gardening world as Holly and I are. And what have you seen to be the biggest piece of misinformation that gardeners continue to use over and over again, even though we've all told the gardeners there's no scientific to this, stop doing it?
Well, I think one of the biggest pieces of misinformation for gardeners, and it plays out a bit in this whole Garden to the Max, is that I think gardeners, especially new ones, are intimidated because you have to follow these strict set of rules, like plant spacing minimums, or sticking to a strict color palette, or only using natives. And I think all these rules can kind of intimidate or wear down gardeners to take away the joy of gardening. And I'd rather get people encouraged to try new things and break rules and experiment. And that's part of the fun and education of gardening, is the trial and error, and not being afraid to kill plants because you learn something and it's part of the education. And I just want people to embrace the joy of gardening, the imperfections and the abundance. And I think Garden to the Max really encourages that creativity and showcases, some of these daring gardeners who aren't afraid to experiment and bend some of the rules.
Well, we've been told you're not a good gardener unless you've killed about 1,000 plants. So
Absolutely. So true, Joey.
So I know you love visiting gardens, botanical gardens, etc., as do I. What is one of the most unique or memorable botanical gardens that you have visited here in the U.S., and what is something that makes it unique or memorable, or, if there's a few of them?
Yeah, there's a lot that I love, but I was thinking of one of the most recent interesting ones I visited. I was in California about a week ago promoting the book, and visited the Ruth Bancroft Garden outside San Francisco. And Ruth Bancroft was a pioneer in her time, and she really experimented with a dry garden. And I was blown away with how beautiful a dry garden could be, with different textures and shapes. And at the time I was there, so many of the succulents and cacti were in bloom, and it was just exquisite. And I thought, as we're experiencing more drought conditions in today's climate, it really opened my eyes to the possibilities of what a dry garden could look like and how beautiful it really could be.
It's amazing that in that Southwest area, how flourishing the plants can be with so minimalist amount of water that they're allowed to have by nature.
Yes. And one of the gardens in Garden to the Max, they would sow handfuls of penstemon, and then it would just bloom, the sea of pink that they would have. It was in Tucson, and I was just so, and in several of the gardens they had, they would grow things by seed and just add another layer of planting by sowing seeds, filling in any areas where there's bare soil by sowing seeds. And it was just magical how it would weave the garden together.
Well, we greatly appreciate the time you've offered us, Teresa. How can people find out about you? How can they get your book?
The book is sold on all the major retailers, Amazon and Barnes and Noble, also small independent bookstores. It also is sold through our publisher, which is Timber Press. So there's lots of different ways. And if they want to follow along, I've made a lot of reels about the garden on Instagram and Facebook. You can find me at Teresa P. Woodard. And I have reels of 19 of the 20. So hopefully we'll get one more, and you can get a little sneak peek of some of these maximalist gardens.
Absolutely. Well, Teresa, thank you so much for the time you've offered, not only Holly, myself, but all of our listeners, and best to you.
Well, I'm very thankful, and I encourage you all to garden to the max this season.
Absolutely. And when we return, it's your garden questions and our garden answers. You're tuned into the Gardening with Joy and Holly radio show.
Got a question for Joey and Holly? Send it via email anytime to gardentalkradio@gmail.com.
Good garden tools make gardening easier. Wisconsin-made Cobra Head tools simplify weeding, cultivating, digging, and planting. Favorites of professional gardeners, Cobra Head tools are durable, ergonomic, and easy to work with. Visit cobrahead.com and use coupon code SOIL for 10% off your order.
Do you have pets trying to leave your fenced area or pests trying to enter your fenced area or garden? Dig Defense provides peace of mind that your pets are contained safely and humanely in your yard, and other animals or pests stay out. With several sizes to pick from, Dig Defense is the easy, safe way to extend the protection of your fence, protecting your pets and your property. Find out more at stopthedig.com. 4-Jar Canning Supply, your one-stop shop for all your canning needs, where old ways meet new in every jar. They are a family with decades of home canning experience, offering top-quality products and outstanding service. Never run out of canning lids again. Whether you're a seasoned canner or just starting out, their extensive range of canning products will elevate your canning game. 4Jars.com. Inspired by the homemade preserves of our childhoods, they want to share that same joy with you. They deeply care about your family's health and understand the importance of homemade, nutritious meals. That's why they offer high-quality products to help you preserve your food. Quality canning lids, pressure canners, vacuum seal machines, and all the tools you need to get the job done. 4Jars has you covered. Our canning lids provide the perfect airtight seal for any regular, wide, or gym-sized jar. With the thickest lids on the market, they provide long-lasting freshness, up to 18 months, and are rust-resistant, ensuring your preserves stay secure. Use code 4JARS25 to save 10% off your order at 4jars.com. That's FORJARS25 to save 10% off your order at 4jars, FORJARS.com.
RH Shumway is a family-owned and operated gardening company with a large selection of seeds and plants online. You can use code 15TG25 to receive 15% off your order at rhshumway.com. That's code 15TG25. Roots and Rhizomes is a family-owned and operated gardening company specializing in daylilies, irises, and perennials. Use code 15TG25 to receive 15% off your order at rootsrhizomes.com. That's code 15TG25. Garden like a pro in 3 easy steps and receive customized fertilizer recommendations for your garden or lawn. Soil Savvy helps you determine what nutrients your plants need to thrive. Never again over-apply nutrients they don't need. A patented process that makes you a smart gardener. To get your soil test kit, go to mysoilsavvy.com. My garden hasn't looked this good in a decade. That's what gardeners are saying about Carricade. No extra fertilizers, no harsh sprays, just thriving plants and massive blooms. Rated 4.8 stars. Shop Carricade.com and use the code RADIO10, that's Radio10, to save 10% off your order at Carricade.com.
Check out ivorganics.com. It's America's leading garden product YouTube channel. IV Organic products are innovative, organic, effective, and proudly USA made to help you achieve your best growing season. Use coupon code RADIO10 at checkout and save 10% on your entire order at ivorganics.com. That coupon code again is RADIO10 to save 10% on your order at ivorganics.com. Mantis garden tiller cultivators are the perfect solution for any garden. With their gas-powered 2-cycle or 4-cycle engine, these powerful machines can till 9 or 16 inches of land without you breaking a sweat. And it doesn't stop there. Mantis's optional attachments allow you to aerate, plow, and more with the snap of a finger. Engineered with durability in mind, Mantis tiller cultivators will be your guaranteed garden companion for a long time. You can find more out and details at mantis.com. Vermont Bean Company is a family-owned and operated gardening company with the largest selection of seeds online. Use coupon code 15TG25 to receive 15% off your order at VermontBean.com. That coupon code is 15TG25 to receive 15% off your order at VermontBean.com. One Sweet Earth makes the last garden bed you'll ever need. Strong, simple, sustainable. One Sweet Earth beds slide together in minutes. No tools, no rot, no junk. Durable, non-toxic, woman-owned, made in the USA. Visit onesweetearth.com. Welcome back to the Garden with Joy and Holly radio show. Happy to have you around today, allowing us to be part of your day. Miss any of those coupon codes or those companies financially supporting the program so you can hear us every week, you can go to our parent website, thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com, underneath the Money tab and the Season 9 tab at the top of the page. Time for your garden questions and our garden answers. You got a question, fire it on over here to gardentalkradio@gmail.com. That's gardentalkradio@gmail.com. Or you can give us a call toll free, coast to coast at 1-800-927-SHOW. That's 1-800-927-7469. We've got a couple of calls lined up, and we should have some answers as well.
Hello, guys. This is Ilona calling from Highland, Michigan. I hear you on WHAM 1600. My question is Thuricide, Thuricide, a type of BT. I'm wondering, I'm assuming it's not organic, but is it safe to use on my cabbages? And do I apply it when I first see a problem or prior? And how long before harvest can I apply this?
Well, we always appreciate Ilona checking in with us, and you can help her with that.
Yeah, so the BT, the Thuricide, can be applied as soon as you see a problem. Something like cabbage, you can do the cabbage netting, but that doesn't always guarantee
days of harvest.
Yeah, and then for the BT, days to harvest is 0, so you could. There's no problem.
Spray it on that morning, and then make sure
Harvest.
they're all have deceased, and then harvest your product right away.
Yep, correct.
All right, I think that's what I think. Did we miss anything there?
I think that's it.
Yeah. All right, let's go up to Yankton, South Dakota.
Yeah, this is Ed, Worthington, Minnesota. Question is on the fern peonies. Don't seem to be able to find seeds for them. I was wondering if I could cut down and split one at the root system and replant it. And the seeds, I harvested them last year, but they didn't germinate. I don't know if I harvested them too quickly. They were brown, but yeah, give me some pointers.
Well, Ed, thank you for giving us a call. And you want to do this in the fall, as many of the peonies are already starting to grow now. In the fall, once the foliage has died back, you want to cut it back, clean it all up, and then you can dig up the whole root system. Then you can rinse it off with water so you can see what you're dealing with and you don't have a big glob of soil. And you can divide the roots as long as you have about 3 to 5 eyes or buds in each clump that you can replant it and move it around. You do not want to replant it any deeper than 2 inches below your top cutting. Whenever you bury your roots, and then your bulb should be or your buds should be no more than 2 inches below soil level. And be sure you water it in thoroughly and to make sure it takes and it gets established. And if all goes well, you'll have them transplanted and growing next spring. The seeds, you can save the seeds. You do want them to, the way Ed described that he did exactly what he was supposed to do. It's one of those things. We save tomato seeds, and not all of them are viable, and it may be just one of those things. And I don't know what it is. We couldn't. There was some. We looked for them online. JungSeed.com has some. Some are sold out. I do not advise buying any type of seed, bulb, anything like that on the big A on the internet because it's just not a trusted service. The growers are very, there's no trusting there. Jungseed.com, Edmund Roses, R.H. Shumway, Totally Tomatoes, legitimate companies that's been around for decades, and they have a phone number in which you can call and talk to somebody if something's not right. You can't do that on Amazon. Well, you can do that on Amazon, but to somebody that doesn't care, they'll just go, "Oh, here, refund or no refund. Thanks, buy from us again." The corporate customer service. So, if you want to be like Ed, you want to be like Ed, you can call 1-800-927-SHOW. That's 1-800-927-7469, or Ilona. Yeah, we appreciate the phone calls. Let's see what else we can get through the top of the hour here. Here's one for you. I want to get a jump start on my beans. Can I start them in seed trays and then transplant them in the garden?
That's a no for me.
No. Don't
do that. It doesn't. It's not going to give you a jump start.
The speed is actually going to be like we talked about in the first segment with the cucumbers. You plant a bean seed, and you plant a bean start, which you've probably paid like $3 for at the garden center. You've poured it, you dumped it out, you've disrupted the roots. If the transplant survives, they're going to be about the same in 4 weeks. Now, you can speed up germination on any type of seed by soaking it. Based on the size, soaking it for a few hours to 12 hours or 1 day in order to hydrate the seed. Then you plant it. It's already swelled up. You're going to get like a 3 to 5 day jump on the germination in that realm. You can use regular water. You can use compost tea. Anything to soak it. If you're going to do okra, you want to soak it in 2% milk because the lactic acid in the milk will help eat away the seed coating and speed up the germination rate on your okra. 135 different varieties of okra in the world. Yeah. So do not, that's the same thing with carrots or radishes or squashes or cucumbers. You see at the garden center, they sell it because people buy it. You all are smarter than that. Don't buy it. Just buy the seeds, plant it, and you're going to be much more happier with the results and limiting the variable of the plant dying and the frustration that you're going to have and the money you wasted. All right. Can you tell me why my seedling onions that have sprouted have little black seeds on the top of them? First time grower here. That's just simply...
That's a seed coat.
That's the seed coat that hasn't fell off of the top of the plant. You're going to see this with a lot of different... with pretty much every plant in which you're going to grow. You're going to see that little seed top and nothing. Don't touch it. Don't worry. Let the seedling develop and cause it to fall off naturally. I got some hanging baskets, and it appears in the hanging basket there is empty egg shape or round ball shapes that are in the top of the hanging basket. Do I need to be concerned?
I wouldn't be concerned. I'm going to assume that's some sort of fungi.
No, that's going to be fertilizer. That's going to be the fertilizer caps or the
like the vermiculite, perlite?
Osmocote.
Okay.
There's other fertilizers that when it's water dispersible, they're put in there, and then when the water happens, they break apart and disperse into the soil. Okay, so you may think it's like an egg or a bug or something.
No, because my dad, he bought... I don't know, some houseplant recently, and he did get a couple little fungi that grew, and they looked like tiny little,
this is
squishy eggs.
In hanging baskets, this would be more of the answer without a photograph to go off of. I've seen this a lot of times, especially after holidays where hanging plants are very predominantly sold, and people are like, what are these little empty things? Are these eggs that have hatched in my plant? And it certainly is not. So that is something to be aware of. So that will about do it for today. You got anything to add to that?
I'm just happy that it's finally almost summer
in most parts of the country. Yeah,
it's like late to mid to late spring, or I guess more, I don't know, whatever. But I'm just happy that we're here and that it's finally warming up again and the days are longer, so I'm always happy about that.
Whenever you're planting your plants out there, and some of you have already got your garden planted based on where you're listing from, some of you are still dealing with some snow or very cold temperatures, Be sure whatever you do, take as many variables out of the situation as you possibly can. Make sure what you're planting is the correct time. Make sure it's the correct soil temperature. Make sure it is the correct spacing. And yes, if the internet or your book or the back of the seed packet says space 1 every 8 inches, yes, you can get away with planting 1 every 6 inches and squeezing a couple more plants in a 20 or 30 foot row. That's not a big deal. It's whenever people go, oh, I'll put 4 right here. And instead of spacing them out 6 inches, they just throw, there's certain plants like beets and carrots that do need to be thinned because of the size of the seed or the variation of the cluster seeds like Swiss chard and beetroot and beet have that you've got to thin out. But other than that, be smart about it, make one move, make it count, and invest in an irrigation system and protection of your plants so animals don't eat it.
And as always, if it's too good to be true, seems too good to be true, it probably is. But, if you have a question about something, we are here for you.
GardenTalkRadio@gmail.com or toll free, coast to coast, anytime. Leave a message if we can't get to you and answer the phone. It's 1-800-927-SHOW. Tune into the program next week where we will be talking about there's more to benefits of gardening than just the produce that you're pulling out of the garden. As well as, though summer is just beginning, we're going to discuss the opportunity to plant some summer crops a second time before frost. And our guest, she is a professional YouTuber and master gardener. Olga Kamadi will be with us and will answer more of your garden questions. So until next week, for
Holly Baird,
I'm Joy Baird, and we will see you in the garden.